Welcome back to my channel. Um, it's been a pretty long time since I posted a new video, so here I am today posting a video on types of triangles. And as you may see in the picture on the thumbnail, these types of triangles are isosceles, scalene, and equilateral triangles. So without further ado, let's get started. So here I have three pictures of all the types of triangles here. So this one is the isosceles, this one is the scalene, and this one is the equilateral triangle. And if you don't know what these mean, then we will talk about them. So an isosceles triangle has, one sec, let me get my pen. Okay, so isosceles triangle has two equal sides, and you may be wondering what are these two lines right here. I've highlighted them in yellow. They don't look so good, but okay. So these are basically just to show you that there are two equal sides. So now let's do this in red. So only these two sides are equal. Not any, so this side is not equal. If it was equal, I would have another line over here, but since it doesn't, it's a isosceles triangle. And next we have a scalene triangle. So let me pick two more colors to use this time. Let's pick blue. So scalene triangle is basically just a triangle with no equal sides at all. So none, if you look at this side is not equal to this side, and this side is not equal to either of these sides. So these are not equal triangles. Scalene has no equal triangles, equal sides. So that's one way you can verify it. So there won't be any marks on the scalene triangle just because it doesn't have any equal sides at all. So next and lastly, we have the equilateral triangle. So let me pick green here. Okay, so equilateral triangles, if you see, it has 1, 2, and 3 markings on all the sides. So these markings, like I said before, represent the number of the sides. So as how many sides have the same length. So these 3 sides have the same length, and these lines tell us that. So now that we know what they are, let's talk about how you can identify these, or like what's easier to identify. How to make it easier to identify, sorry. So right here, let's take black. Actually, let's take a better color. How about yellow? Okay, yeah, let's do yellow. So, right. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. This looks fine. Okay, so basically what we're going to talk about is how to identify them. So there's some tricks, and here's one that I use. So it is to see, like, basically isosceles. So I'm not very sure about this, but sometimes iso means two, and isosceles have two equal sides, but we'll talk about something else, like how to identify this later in just a sec. So now let's look at the scalene. So the scalene have no equal sides, and so here's something, here's like a trick to remember. So scalene, if there's a letter a word that you can take from that, it's scale. So I'm writing it here. I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but let me use white. Okay, yeah, that looks a little better. So scale is the word you can take from scalene, And so, like I said, so if you get on a scale, if we all get on a scale, then we would not have the same exact weight. So that's just one way to remember it. And then lastly, for the equilateral triangles, another word you can take from equilateral is equal, right? Equal from equilateral, which makes total sense. And so equal, all of the sides here are equal. So you can just say they are equilateral triangles because all of their sides are equal. So now let's just erase that. Okay, so uh, now that we're done talking about how to identify them, let's go through what we learned today, basically. So basically what we learned is the types of triangles. So there's isosceles, there is scalene, and lastly there's equilateral. So um, these triangles have lots of ways you can verify them and identify them. Sorry, not verify, identify. So isosceles have two equal sides, scalene have no equal sides. And then lastly, there is an equilateral triangle which has three equal sides. So then you can remember isosceles as the one that doesn't have any trick to remember. Scalene as if we go, all of us go on a scale, then we won't be the same weight. And then lastly, we have the equilateral triangle, which you can remember from the word equal in it. So this is one way you can remember all of the triangles and their names. And this just might be a little bit more easier for you to remember their names if you are like somebody who doesn't really remember them a lot. So yeah. Um, there's not really anything else that you can do with this concept. It's just that you have to know them. So if you haven't watched my video about quadrilaterals, I'll put the link in the description box down below. Go ahead and check that out. It's just a video on quadrilaterals and the types of quadrilaterals. I'm gonna use a different software starting now on for you guys to see my videos better. And so yeah. So what I want to do now is just get like a kind of give you guys kind of like a test. So if you're just watching this because you want to refresh your concept, the concept in your mind, then it's a good thing that you did this test. But if you just want to do it to see how well you are at it, then that's also fine. So I'm going to be using white on the chalkboard background. So basically, our first question is coming up. One sec. I'm going to be right back. So here are the test questions. Um, there are 5, so I will give you a minute or so to work on them. But I'm not going to wait that long, so just pause the video and finish these. If you don't understand, just watch the video again, or you can watch the questions, and then when you're done, if you still remember the questions, then try some other problems like these, or if you don't remember the questions, then just try doing them again and see if you understand. The points are out of 5 because there are 5 questions, so as many as you get correct, just score it. And it's fine if you get 0. Again, just watch the video again, and I'm pretty sure you will understand. So our first question is how to identify an isosceles triangle. So just finish these first. I'll just read them out loud. So the second one is how many equal sides do scalene triangles have? Third one is how would you explain equilateral triangles to someone? Fourth one is how many sides do scalene triangles have? And lastly, how would you explain isosceles triangles to someone? So, like I said, just pause the video and we will get back together when you're done. Or if you don't understand, watch the video again. But when you're done, just unpause the video and I will explain all the questions in thorough format. Okay, so if you finished your this test kind of thing, um, and this helps gauge your understanding on the topic, so be sure to do this. So let's go to our first page. So this is question number one page, the question number one page. And let's take blue. So the first question, if you look over here, was how to identify an isosceles triangle. So if you remember, an isosceles triangle is a triangle with two equal sides. That's not very good. It looks like an equilateral triangle. But I will have this, let me just take this picture from over here. One sec. Let's just copy that, paste it here. Okay, so this is what an isosceles triangle looks like. And let's get a pen color. Okay, let's do blue. So an isosceles triangle has two sides, and you can identify that by these two lines here. So the question was, how do you identify an isosceles triangle? And the way to do that is just seeing if they have two lines here. Sometimes they don't. Or otherwise, you can look for if the triangle has nothing to identify with. So like I said before, there's some tricks to help you identify, and if it does not have a trick, then that means that this is a isosceles triangle. So the way to identify an isosceles triangle is looking for a two lines, or or you can look for if it does not have a specific trick to identify. So let's just write trick. Sorry about my handwriting. Trick to identify. Okay. So now that we're done with that one, let's go on to the next question. So the second question was, how many equal sides do scalene triangles have? So let's get this picture of the scalene triangle that we had before. Copy, and let's go to the second page and we'll paste that here. Okay. So this is a picture of a scalene triangle that we had before. And the second question was, how many equal sides do scalene triangles have? So scalene triangles have, I'm not going to say it yet, but if you remember scalene, the word that we were able to pull from it is scale. So all we need to find out is how many equal sides do scalene triangles have. So the way to do that is using our trick scale, and then if from scale, if you pull the word from scaling, if you pull the word scale, we all don't have different weights. So then scale is the term that you should be using for that. So scalene triangles do not have any marks because none of their sides are equal. So uh, none of them have lines on them, which makes them scalene triangles. So this is how you can remember a scalene triangle, by looking for the number of sides or the trick to help you. So the number of sides should, number of equal sides should be 0, and this trick should be helpful, pretty helpful for you. So one thing that you should always notice is that sometimes right here, if you see this line right here that I just drew in, we use a different color, and for the next one, yellow. So, and then right here, if you see this yellow line that I drew in, these are not the same length. So if we were to just take that, give me 1 second. So here I have taken little screenshots and put them of the two sides. So here is this one, the yellow line, and here's the red line. This one's a little bit wonky, but all I needed to do for this one is just flip it around. So let's take this red one and compare it with the yellow one. So as you can see, it does not match. And so we can obviously tell, let's delete these, that this the red mark is a lot smaller than the yellow one. So Scalene triangles, they have all of their sides are not equal. Yeah, so sometimes you might be fooled by that if the triangle looks like this, but just remember that either one of them has to be smaller if there's a scalene triangle. So now that we're done, let's just write down what we learned. So scalene triangles have no, so put an X, equal sides. Oh, just like, okay, equal sides. ES stands for equal sides. No equal sides. And no line, no L. Okay. So no lines meaning no these things, none of those. Okay. So our next question is, let's look at it here. How would you explain equilateral triangles to somebody? This may be a little bit based on how we would say it. So how would you explain equilateral triangles to someone? This might be based on how you say it, but I'll just give you what you should say. So just in case somebody ever asks you and you have no clue what to tell them, then yeah. Okay, let's just paste this here. Okay, here it is. Let's bring that over here. Equilateral triangles have 3 equal sides. That's why there are 3 lines on this picture of a triangle right here. If I mark them 1, 2, and 3. So since you know that having marks on a triangle just means the sides that are equal, we can move on. So equilateral triangles, the question was how would you explain equilateral triangles to someone? And you would explain them by saying, like I said before, this question, answers may vary, but here is a common answer. So equilateral triangles have uh, 3 equal sides. All of their sides are equal, and they have 3 lines on them, and those lines represent the number of equal sides. So if you got anything like this, then you are absolutely correct. And if you didn't, then just make sure you check your answer, or leave your answer in the discussion section on my channel or in the comments down below, and I will respond and tell you if it is correct or if it is not, and you might need to check your answer. So yeah, so this is what you would tell somebody who doesn't know what an equilateral triangle is to someone. It has 3 equal sides, so let's just put equal sides, 3 equal sides, and it has 3 lines like we saw before over here. three lines. Um, because equilateral triangles have three lines to identify that they are equilateral triangles, to identify what they are as a whole. So next, we are going to do our fourth question. Our fourth question is, how many sides do scalene triangles have? So scalene triangles, where's our picture of scalene triangles? Okay, here it is. From our second question, let's just copy this and we'll just paste it right over here. Okay, so here's our picture of a scalene triangle, and the scalene triangle has uh, zero equal sides, and our question was, how many sides do scalene triangles have? Scale from scalene, and nobody is the same way unless like, some people are, but we're not talking about that right now. Scalene, scale, and the answer is zero, zero sides, and zero lines for identifying their length. Next is our last question. So let's go to right here, our questions page 5. How would you explain isosceles triangles to someone? This is kind of like the same question as number 3, but it's a bit different. So let's just go to our isosceles triangle picture, and insert this, and let's just copy and go to our page and paste. Okay, here is our isosceles triangle picture. So isosceles triangles have two equal sides based on the marks here, the little marks. So our question is, how would you explain the triangles to someone? So like we did with question number 3, we would just say that they have two equal sides. So 2ES, two equal sides out of 3, and they have uh, yeah, so they just have two equal sides, and they have two lines to show that they have two equal sides. So 2 lines and 2 equal sides out of 3 equal sides. So these are our questions, and I hope that you subscribe to my channel, and yeah, I will see you in my next video. It's probably going to come up sometimes today, or yeah, and thank you so much for 175 channel views. I'm glad that you guys are liking my videos, and yeah, see you later.